say French dip, they're going to know it.
Live across SoCal, this is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11 Plus.
Now at 8, a terrifying moment for a high school running club in Anaheim. Students hit by a car during a training run. 3 are in the hospital tonight. Investigators are trying to figure out if the driver was under the influence. Good evening, everybody. You're watching LA Live News Tonight. I'm Marla Teos.
Thanks very much for joining us. I'm Phil Schuman. Those students were waiting to cross the street when a car swerved onto the sidewalk and struck them. The 27-year-old driver of that car is also hospitalized tonight. As of last check, he has not been arrested.
Fox 11's Gina Silva live in Anaheim with the very latest. Gina?
Well, I can tell you that the scene has been cleared, but when we first got here, it was chaotic. Paramedics were attending to those injured students right there on the sidewalk. They were also treating the driver who crashed into them. We did manage to speak to members of the running team who were not physically hurt, but they were traumatized.
He just lost control of the car. He just kept going. He didn't stop. He was just going.
Security footage shows the moment a driver lost control and slammed into a group of Anaheim high school runners who were waiting for the light at Harbor Boulevard and North Street shortly after 3 p.m. Fernanda and Kaylee were part of that group.
We were literally waiting for the light just for this one to go.
It wasn't her turn to go. It was the green light was already here. We just waited because it wasn't our turn to walk.
Police say at least 8 teenagers were struck. 3 teens are reportedly in serious condition.
It's really bad. There's a few kids laying bleeding. You can tell that they're badly injured. It's sad.
The driver, a man in his 20s, was also injured and transported to the hospital. Anaheim police are now investigating whether he was under the influence.
It's very sad. It's very scary. Every mother's nightmare.
And we have just been told by Anaheim police that the driver was under the influence of alcohol and drugs and will be booked later tonight. Now, regarding the school, officials are saying that there will be counseling resources available for students and for staff. Phil, Marla?
Gina, is this literally breaking news? You just heard from police just now during your report?
Yes, I texted Sergeant Sutter from Anaheim PD if he had any updates, and he got back to me and said that they'll be sending out a press release soon. But indeed, they say the driver was driving under the influence of alcohol and drugs and that he will be booked later tonight. Remember, he was also injured, so he was taken to the hospital.
Of course, those are allegations. So were the students
Absolutely.
like with teachers? Was it like a chaperone organized thing? Were they on their own? Do we know?
They appear to be on their own. I mean, I have seen so many different running groups from different schools whenever we go, to set up live shots at different locations. And you always just see the students running in the area where it's closest to their high school. It's a pretty routine thing that they do. The runners go out and run their 2-3 miles and then come back to the school.
Yeah, and they were doing everything right. They were on the sidewalk, as they should be, waiting for the green light.
All right, Gina, thank you.
Thank you. There's a fight to save hundreds of homes in the city of Bell as residents of 2 mobile home parks are taking a stand against a city plan they say could destroy their community.
Let's go live to Fox 11's Ed Laskus, who is in Bell with more. Ed.
Phil, lots of emotion here as we're talking about not 1 but 2 mobile home parks, home to some 300 families, and now they could be pushed out if the city sells that land to try to bring in some more revenue, perhaps like turning it over to the businesses and restaurants. In any event, let's get into it. Joe, take us into it. That's City Hall over here, recognizable, I'm sure. And City Council not taking any action on this tonight. They're expected to vote one way or the other early next year, but the emotions are so strong here that the crowd's already showing up, protesters. To that video we go. Check it. This just before the meeting started. Many of the families that would be affected from these mobile home parks are out here. They have their signs. They're chanting, "Hell no, we won't go." They also are holding up pictures of city council members and the mayor. They're crossed out and it says corrupt. I don't have to remind you that, remember the city of Bill with its huge corruption scandal back in the 2000s with the city manager, Robert Rizzo, and so forth and so on. So in any event, so you know the backstory here. The city buys these 2 mobile home parks back in the mid-90s. They use taxpayer money, and the folks lived there. But now all of a sudden the city has been saying, well, we're having financial problems, and so they want to sell that land, and those folks would be forced out. And for many of them, they're low income, they are elderly, and the thought of having to be moved out, possibly on the streets, is, well, heartbreaking. Listen.
I'm thinking about it because I can sleep, I can eat very well, I am bored. It's not good. It's not good for the people.
We're urging the state to do an audit on the city to see where these funds are going, and also it shouldn't be our responsibility. It shouldn't be past corruption scandals should not be a burden on these residents. It's not our fault that the city's bankrupt. It's not our fault that the city did not use its public funds properly.
What are they going to do? Where are they going to go if they get kicked out?
Exactly. We don't know. A lot of these folks, honestly, a lot of these folks are like, I have no other option. Like, I cannot afford to live anywhere else.
Now live, as she says, no other option. So as all of this plays out, they want the state to do an audit, saying because of past history of corruption, we don't trust anybody. Where is all this money? The city says we need some more revenue, so we're thinking about turning these mobile home parks into really restaurants and the type of businesses that would kick back a lot of taxpayer funds back into the revenue coffers. So that's where we stand right now. But again, no decision on this until next month, early next month, right after the holidays, when they're planning to decide if they're going to vote to say yes, and then also to talk about a relocation plan. But when you talk to the folks here tonight, these residents, they say they're not going anywhere. They need to stay because they have no other options.
Yeah, I mean, that is frightening for them. But I mean, if the city owns the property, you got to figure it's an uphill battle.
Yeah, remember that what they always say, and in all of our years, I hate to say it, but it's true, you can't fight City Hall, and that's kind of what they're facing here. But it's the emotions of all of this, because they're saying, first of all, we may be kicked out, and then they're saying, well, where are we going to go? There's no relocation plan. And so who knows how all of this is going to play out, but certainly it will be very, very emotional.
Yeah, especially right now with the holidays. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, Ed. Tonight, parents on high alert after the father of a young child apparently breaks into a daycare center through a window. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez from Lawndale now with a story you'll see only on Fox 11.
A man is seen breaking in through the window of a daycare center in Lawndale last Tuesday. Inside, he faces off with a caretaker demanding to take his 4-year-old daughter. The staff at Little Ones Academy refused because the girl's mother had warned them he was unstable.
Él forzó nuestra ventana, entró por la ventana, se llevó a la niña tan rápido inmediatamente.
He broke in, grabbed the child and ran, says that caretaker, too afraid to show her face on camera.
I don't know where the man is that supposedly broke into through the window.
Citizen app video shows a large response from LA County Sheriff, who tells off camera they advised the mother to immediately get a restraining custody order from a judge. Here's that order, filed the same day. LAPD officers then visited the father at the home where it seems he has a child, but according to their notes, he refused to give the daughter to mother or LAPD. The mother's family saying they're told
that there's nothing that they can do. They've done everything they can already. And basically that's it.
They say the father has refused to let them see the 4-year-old since he took her from the daycare center last week. And the caretakers can't believe that. They're worried.
Porque estamos hablando de un secuestro.
We're talking about kidnapping, she says. The mother's family is also afraid.
I'm very worried for my granddaughter. Very stressed out.
LAPD has not gotten back to us as to why they chose not to just take the child, to leave the child there. The man lives in their area, not the sheriff's department. The mother says he is not allowing her to see the 4-year-old little girl, that he sends her cell phone videos. They do have a court date at the end of the month. In Lawndale, I'm Christina Gonzalez, Fox 11 News.
California wins another major legal battle over control of its National Guard. A federal judge ruling today the Trump administration's move to federalize all those Guard members was unlawful, calling it, quote, an illegal standing army. So the same judge also struck down an earlier deployment of troops to L.A. Governor Newsom praised the ruling today. Now, it takes effect Monday, but before that, the federal government is expected to appeal.
An Orange County photographer is speaking out after he was deported as he was heading to Texas to photograph a wedding.
Fox 11's Nick Garcia brings us this asylum seeker story and his uncertain future.
I was trying to do it the right way, the legal way, and it just feels like they don't care about that.
Adan Cáceres came to the United States under asylum in 2014, fleeing a violent El Salvador, a place he never wanted to return to, but is there again.
My mom's sister was murdered, and she was thrown in the front of our house. She also was abused sexually before they murdered her. And then my brother and I were threatened by the gangs.
He says he never received the deportation order that was issued in 2018 and only learned about it in 2023. He then started the process of reopening his case.
I was paying my taxes. I'm a business owner. I'm a wedding photographer. I'm also married.
In October, Cáceres was going through security at John Wayne Airport, heading to a job in Texas when he was detained. He says from Santa Ana, he was sent to the Adelanto detention center, then one in El Paso, Texas, where he says the conditions were inhumane.
We're not even asking for, hey, let us out or anything like that. We're asking for water. We're asking for us to be able to use the restroom. Like, these are just basic human rights.
He says now that he's back in the country he once fled, he's most concerned about his wife back in Orange County.
I was providing a lot of income for our household, and now my wife has to take care of all of those things on her own, paying the car insurances, the rent, all the bills.
Cáceres says he had no criminal history and feels he was on the path to citizenship when it was ripped away from him, leaving his future with his family uncertain.
I don't know what that looks like for me. I don't know if I'm going to see them.
Nick Garcia, Fox 11 News.
Still ahead here at 8, comedian Andy Dick. He suffers an apparent drug overdose while hanging out in Hollywood. We hear from him about what he was on and how he's doing tonight. That's next.
Plus, it has been months since 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found dead in the trunk of a car belonging to singer David. Still no arrest in the case. We speak with the LAPD chief about it.
And in our weather, the warmest temperatures of the week are behind us now, but it's still going to be pretty warm going forward. We'll show you where we expect to see some 80s again tomorrow and how much it cools for this upcoming weekend coming up next.
Comedian Andy Dick caught on camera slumped and non-responsive on a staircase in Hollywood. We have new video of his answer to the incident and insight from addiction medicine specialist, Dr. Drew Pinsky.
There was a guy that was my age, and he was depressed, and he was on the sidewalk, and I'm like, I'll sit with you. And then he whipped out, I'm sorry, but crack. And I'm like, you know what? I might need a little bit of that.
That's Andy Dick speaking from his home to TMZ Wednesday afternoon, saying he was alive and okay, but readily admitting that he'd used crack cocaine.
Is he okay? Hey.
This was the scene yesterday. Video also from TMZ showing Dick slumped over and non-responsive as he sat on a concrete staircase outside a building in Hollywood.
Andy, wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
As friends tried to help, apparently police and paramedics responded, gave him the drug Narcan to counteract the effects of opiate overdoses. He was not hospitalized.
Well, Andy is a wonderful human being. He's a very sensitive guy, and he has horrible addiction. He would be the first person to tell you that.
Dr. Drew Pinsky treated Andy Dick years ago, says this is a dramatic and dangerous example of the disease of addiction.
Your thinking, your feeling, your relationships all serve that false god.
That false god would be drugs or alcohol?
Get the drug, get the alcohol, no matter what. And as the disease progresses, all the other wonderful aspects of the brain, the judgment, our willpower, all that falls behind, and this one priority emerges.
Dick is now 59, known for shows like The Ben Stiller Show and The Andy Dick Show. He's had a long history of drug and alcohol problems, as well as accusations and arrests on sexual battery and harassment charges. He's in a new film called T-Bird, and his publicist, contradicting his own words, was quoted today by the National Enquirer saying he's fine. They were filming part of a documentary as well as a live stream. He was just drinking heavily and fell asleep.
I don't mind doing a little crack every now and then.
By his own admission, that certainly wasn't the case. And Dr. Drew Pinsky says, even though Dick has relapsed after repeated attempts at rehab, the message is, keep trying. Now, we contacted Andy Dick's representatives directly for comment and have not yet gotten any response.
Well, it is a high-profile case with no arrests so far. Today, LAPD Chief Jim McDonald spoke with Fox 11 about the death of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Her body was discovered in a Tesla at a tow yard more than 3 months ago. The car was registered to the singer, but he has not been charged. A grand jury is reviewing evidence. TMZ reporting new details from Monday's hearing, revealing David's record label president was questioned about not contacting the police and was overheard in a hallway saying he felt no responsibility to do so, focusing instead on the tour. Chief McDonald would not directly address the case, but did comment on the LAPD blocking the medical examiner from releasing her cause of death.
Our goal there is not to impede transparency. All of this will come out eventually anyway, but to try and not get ahead of the investigation. Information that's put out ahead of the investigation then potentially jeopardizes our ability to be able to identify and interview witnesses and bring justice to a very important case.
We also asked the chief if David is a suspect in this case, as has been reported. Chief McDonald said he did not want to talk about that because this is an ongoing case. Coming up, Netflix slapped with a class action lawsuit over its multi-billion-dollar deal with Warner Brothers.
And why an HBO customer decided to take legal action next.
Weather is sponsored by My Home Sold.
Well, looks like a nice night in the San Fernando Valley. Temperatures cooling off a bit after a pretty warm day, right?
Yeah, we almost broke a record from 1950, Adam.
Yeah, so close. 86 was the high for LA officially today. 87, the record for the day. So we were right there, very warm. This is likely the warmest day of the week. It's going to be downhill slightly over the next few days. And now we have a live view here in Santa Monica as we have just a very pleasant for December evening. That's for sure. Let's start with that recap of today. So again, I've circled it. 86, record is 87. Average or normal is 67, so we're almost 20 degrees above that today. Way out of whack for this time of year. Still some warm weather going forward, but again, we're cooling a little bit. And even into the weekend and next week, I think we'll continue on the warm side for December. Actually, all the way towards 2 weeks from now, it looks like that's going to be the case. Onshore winds, which we haven't seen much of lately, are going to slowly return over the next few days, and that means the marine layer is also gradually going to return. You may have noticed that's kind of been absent for the last few days at least. Okay, temperatures right now. Downtown, it's 59, long way from 86 that we had earlier in the afternoon. So there's kind of a mix of 50s and 60s and a few 70s out there right now. Here's where we should settle overnight. The bottom point of our temps, mostly bottom half of the 50s in most locations, and then highs tomorrow. Well, there's still 80s on the map, just a little bit lower than what we saw today. So still some low and mid 80s as you go to the far inland areas and the valleys, the IE. Closer to the coast, mid to low 70s will be a little more common. A lot of inland Orange County, around 80 degrees or so. So again, temperatures are still warm, just not as warm as it's been. We've got this high pressure right here. Now go back a day or two and this was positioned a little farther west. See what the winds are doing around it, going clockwise. So we've been on the side of the high where the winds have been blowing offshore. Santa Ana winds essentially going on the last few days. As it scoots over us, we lose that Santa Ana wind, so the temperatures won't be quite as warm, but still with high pressure overhead. That makes for warm temperatures. Then once this gets past us, we start to see the onshore wind on the backside of the high. So that will, again, cool us a little bit, bring in some marine layer clouds. And by the upcoming weekend, those temperatures cool off to, let's say, low 70s for a lot of spots. Then we go into next week. Another high kind of shows up here on the bottom left part of your screen, just enough to nudge the rain still farther away to our north. Storm track stays up here, and we're going to stay a little warmer than normal into next week. Over the next 7 days, completely dry here locally. Much of central California can say the same. From around San Francisco northward, we're going to find some rain. And the heavy stuff, the atmospheric river, continues across the northwest with still several more inches of rain coming into some spots that have already seen several inches of rain. Okay, high temperatures for this time of year for LA. 67 would be, again, considered normal or average. Way above that again tomorrow at 82. Still 10 above average. Friday at 77, but we're coming down. Saturday, we're at 75. Sunday, we're at 72. And it's probably not going to get much cooler than that. So while we cool a lot from the 86 we had today, it's still going to be a little warmer than normal. For the coast, 70s tomorrow, but probably 60s Friday this weekend and next week. Valleys and Inland Empire, overall a little bit warmer. Mid-80s tomorrow, low 80s Friday. Temperatures dropping a little this weekend, mid-70s by Sunday. Again, that's as cool as it's going to get. A quick look at the mountains here. We've got highs in the 60s to near 60 degrees for a while. In the high desert, it's going to be a few days of low 70s, then around 70 over the weekend. And in the low desert, it's 80s across the board into the middle of next week. Back to you.
All right, Adam, thank you for that. Still ahead here in the 8 o'clock hour, bringing hope to ICE detention centers.
The special mass held for detained immigrants. Plus, we are checking in with Chelsea Edwards.
Yeah, we're live in Harbor City, where a girls' high school basketball team is left reeling after everything from their van was stolen during a post-game dinner right before finals and right before the holidays. I'll have the story and how you can help coming up.
across SoCal, this is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11 Plus.
New tonight, a high school basketball team season takes a devastating turn after their van is broken into.
Uniforms, laptops, even homework was stolen. The team is now asking for some help. Let's go live to Fox 11's Chelsea Edwards in Harbor City with more now. Chelsea.
Yeah, this is just such a frustrating experience for these girls and for their families. All of their sports gear was taken from this van, and then also their school equipment, all of their school supplies, a lot of their homework, a lot of their notes that they had for upcoming finals. All of that is gone and obviously useless to whoever took it. So really frustrating all around. So this is the Narbonne girls basketball high school team. They said that last night they went to a Raising Cane's in Alhambra. That was after a game at Mark Keppel High School, also in Alhambra. And again, this was just last night, but they left everything in the van. So their equipment, their uniforms, their school laptops, personal belongings, everything was in there while they ate. But then when they got back to the van that was in the parking lot, they say everything had been taken. It was just gutted. Now, they since set up a GoFundMe to help replace some of those stolen items so the players can finish out their school year and then continue playing the sport they love. But the players and their families are just shaken.
My daughter was frantic. She was crying, screaming. She couldn't even get any words out. I was trying to get her to calm down, like, what's wrong? She said, oh, somebody stole everything. They took everything. So I'm like, they took what? She was like, my iPad, my headphones, my backpack, my computer. She's like, they stole everything from everybody. Just knowing that she was 42 minutes away from me and I couldn't get to her and hold her and hug her, it was very upsetting.
Now, the district is aware. They say Narbonne Senior High and the Los Angeles Unified School District are committed to supporting our students and the integrity of our athletic programs. Last night, the van that carried the girls' basketball team was burglarized. Anyone with information regarding this matter is urged to contact the West Covina Police Department. And we have talked to the West Covina Police Department as well. They say they are investigating. But, the families and the girls, the players here, are really just hoping that someone has a change of heart, maybe realizes that what they have isn't, in a lot of these cases, just stuff that was in their backpacks, not valuable, but really important to them. So hoping that whoever did this may have a change of heart, maybe return them, no questions asked. But again, the West Covina Police Department is investigating. And just a side note, the girls did have a home game here tonight, and they won by about 30 points. So They did a great job showing that their unity is still very strong despite this really challenging time. Marla, Phil?
Yeah, I'm glad they got the W tonight. They most definitely deserve it. I'm sure they went out there with extra oomph. They're upset by this whole thing.
Not putting a lot of hope in that change of heart concept. Oh, it's a nice thought.
Chelsea's covered a story.
Yes. It's the holidays, Phil. It could happen.
It could happen. It could happen. Did they say, is there security cameras in the parking lot of the restaurant? I mean, do they have anything to go on?
They're looking into that. So the police, we were told that one of the coaches was told that police has security video from that particular Raising Cane's, but they've not shared it with any of the players or the coaches or obviously with the media either. So there's probably some out there, but we haven't seen it yet.
Was
so
the van...
They've got a good lead on catching whoever did this.
Was the van itself damaged when it was broken into, or was it just unlocked?
Surprisingly, no, it wasn't damaged at all. They had locked it, but there was no smashed glass or anything like that. I haven't seen photos of the van, but they said they were just able, they just got in somehow, whether they jimmied a lock or whatever they did, and were able to just grab it in a matter of minutes. This all happened very quickly as well. They were only in there for about 20 minutes.
Wow.
All right, Chelsea, thank you for that. A powerful show of solidarity and calls for compassion. Catholic bishops from across California go inside the Adelanto ICE processing center to celebrate Mass with immigrants being detained. Fox 11's Laura Diaz shares their message of hope.
That there were 7 bishops, and each one of us represents hundreds of thousands of parishioners who are praying for them.
Images of Catholic bishops from all over the state of California in flowing robes as they walked past barbed wire and entered the ICE processing center in Adelanto, a profound symbol of unity for immigrants Wednesday afternoon. Right now in this center, some 1,700 detainees are being held after the Trump administration cracked down on undocumented people in this country. It's not easy to get in to visit. But this day, the bishops were allowed in. They gave Mass to hundreds of detainees, all men, during one of the holiest seasons in the Catholic faith, Advent. The idea was to offer hope in times of despair. It took weeks to arrange the visit. After the service, we met with the bishops. They said they didn't have direct contact with the detainees. There were restrictions, even during Holy Communion.
They were led by the guards. They opened the gates and were able to go into the one section first to offer communion to some 200 detainees on that side, and then they went afterwards into the other section.
But several expressed being personally moved by the experience of sharing in fellowship.
But I saw what was taking place and how moved these men were, coming back to the fence and holding on to the fence as they knelt.
The service today lasted about an hour. It will be the first of many, say the bishops. Pope Leo has called on the church to do more to reach out to immigrants during these frightening times. It was a mission echoed by the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops this day. We were told that the conditions inside of the center were spacious and clean. And also when they first approached those people being detained and started to give mass, there was a burst of applause. In Adelanto, Laura Diaz, Fox 11 News.
A federal judge in New York clears the way for secret grand jury records from Jeffrey Epstein's 2019 sex trafficking case to be made public. The decision follows two other rulings this week ordering the release of materials tied to both Epstein and his longtime associate, Ghislaine Maxwell. Judges say a new federal law, the Epstein Files Transparency Act, requires the government to open these records despite grand jury secrecy rules. The Federal Reserve is lowering its key interest rate for the third time. It's also signaling it might leave rates unchanged in the near future. Today's change makes the rate to roughly 3.6%, which is the lowest it's been in almost 3 years. Low rates mean borrowing costs for mortgages, auto loans, and credit cards could be brought down. Officials say they expect lower rates just once next year. Netflix's planned acquisition of Warner Brothers is under growing scrutiny. Tonight, the streaming service is facing a class action lawsuit.
Fox's Ashley Dvorkin breaks down the details.
After winning a bidding war to buy Warner Brothers Discovery, Netflix is facing a consumer lawsuit seeking to block the deal. A subscriber to WB-owned HBO Max filed the proposed class action on Monday, citing concerns the acquisition could reduce competition among streaming services.
If Netflix prevails, this is the moment that Hollywood turns from an industry into an app, because everything would be completely owned by Netflix. The distribution, the content, both past and present and future, and more importantly, the algorithm.
Netflix responding in a statement, quote, "We believe this suit is meritless and is merely an attempt by the plaintiff's bar to leverage all the attention on the deal." The deal, valued at more than $82 billion, was announced last week and quickly faced criticism. On Monday, Paramount launched a hostile takeover in an attempt to outbid Netflix, appealing directly to Warner shareholders with an offer valued at over $108 billion.
This just shows you how important this race for quality content is becoming. With all the different streaming providers, everyone wants to have the greatest library of good content.
And the streaming service is already facing regulatory scrutiny, with some lawmakers raising concerns its acquisition could lead to potential job cuts and higher prices for users.
There's a lot of crown jewels in this. That's why there's that bidding war. And then because you own the content where people's eyeballs want to go, prices are going to go up.
Netflix says the deal will allow it to expand production in the U.S. and strengthen the entertainment industry. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Well, there's a new anti-camping ordinance in Orange County today. Enforcement began. This is along the Santa Ana River Marsh in Newport Beach, the first site targeted for cleanup, a multi-agency effort including Newport Beach PD, the sheriffs, Public Works, and Parks. This is a one-day operation to clear and remove debris, repair fences, and protect the habitat. You can see a lot of trash, but not many people. Public Works explains why.
They will hide in here. They'll try to blend in. A lot of times you'll see them with tents that you won't be able to see from just off of the trail. So you may not be able to see them until you get up close. We found caves in some of our spots where they're literally, you walk up, you see a piece of cardboard, and you pick it up, and there's a hole there, and someone could be living inside.
The Army Corps of Engineers is also involved. They've posted signs warning of citations and arrests.
And LA City Council members touting the success of RV to Home. Monica Rodriguez calls it a pioneering pilot program that has housed almost 300 people so far and permanently removed 150 RVs.
Here to make sure that we could both house individuals and dispose of the RVs. I don't want that RV showing up in another neighborhood. I don't have to tell the public or anyone else how egregious the discoveries have been about the use of public funds around homelessness. I wanted to demonstrate that we could do it better.
With the right program and with the right approach and protocols, that these folks do want to give up these RVs. They do want to move into housing.
It started with a $350,000 grant from the Hilton Foundation. District 7 then partnered with service provider West Valley Homes Yes to implement it. They focused on RV encampments in Sylmar and Pacoima. City Council is now adopting the model for expansion citywide. All right, coming up, we are checking in with Chief Meteorologist Adam Kruger.
Yeah, we have another warm day tomorrow where it feels more like summer than winter with 80s in several locations. But after today, our temperatures are actually starting to back down a little bit, and it cools even more for the weekend. I'll have the details on that forecast coming up.
Well, in Anaheim tonight, State Senator Tom Umberg is hosting a holiday party and toy drive.
And a special children's orchestra is taking part. They're from the New Hope Presbyterian Church. They were rehearsing tonight for a big concert this weekend called Jazzy Christmas. Can you hear them? 1,000 Lights of Hope benefit concert, it's called. Orchestra director Reverend Chinita Goodjohn was on the Fox 11 News at 5.
The orchestra has grown in its musicality, it's grown in its courage, and it's grown in its opportunity to perform throughout Orange County. So tonight, as you know, we are here at the holiday party that Senator Tom Umberg provides for the community.
The benefit concert will be this Sunday at 5:30 p.m. at the Kennedy Performing Arts Center at John F. Kennedy High School. That is in La Palma. All right, the country's largest all-electric hospital is open, and that's at UC Irvine.
Fox 11's Coco McAvoy explains the benefits for patients and the environment.
Hey there, this is a big day. UCI Health is the largest all-electric hospital in the country, and it's now officially open. Patients are here. I am here with Chad Lefteris, who is the president and CEO. If you can talk about how significant this day is.
This is a very big day. Thank you for being here. Many years in the making to get to this moment, to bring our unique brand of academic healthcare to a new location, but a new, very special custom-built location that's really taking the long view, the forever view in mind.
Yes, and we are on the 7th floor. There are patient rooms here, so we're walking through, and we're about to see a beautiful piece of artwork, and it's really about the details here, even down to the artwork, right?
Thank you so much for noticing. It's a great point. So we have built an amazing building. We've had amazing teams, builders, designers, but the little touches matter to the patients. We got that feedback from patients early on. We had an entire arts committee that helped select from local artists, California artists and beyond, to bring a different feel to what was otherwise a stuffy old hospital, perhaps.
Right.
So it really changes what you see around us. The artwork really adds a dimension. We call it a positive distraction for our patients.
I like that. And we're about to enter a patient room now. And what's really cool is you can see the solar panels.
Yeah, great point. So, and this is the standard room, by the way. This is not a special room. They're all this way. And we can generate about 1/4 of our daily usage of electricity with the solar panels that you see here. It's the solar arrays are across both parking structures on the rooftop. And it's just one of many, many elements that went into making this the first all-electric campus.
Yes, and if you can talk about the backup plan that you have here as well.
Absolutely. So in spite of our best efforts, we still have to have backup life safety code generation for power. And so we have diesel generators. That is the requirement still. They have to fire up in seconds. And so far, none of our amazing researchers at the University of California or UC Irvine have been able to give us another solution yet, but we're getting close. So for now, that is the only bit of fossil fuels that we have is to power those life safety code required backup.
Yes, and Chad, we were talking about the TVs. This can hook up to FaceTime too, right?
So actually the TV is sort of the hub for a lot of things. It would give feedback to the patients about who their care team is as it changes throughout the day or shifts. They can order food through that. They can watch educational videos and other things. And they can absolutely also connect with their loved ones who may not be able to be here with them in person.
Chad Lefteris, President and CEO, thank you so much for talking to us. What an incredible day here for Irvine. Again, this hospital has opened. The grand opening has been underway, ribbon cutting and all, and patients are now welcome here. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Alan Kruger's here. It's interesting. I guess it's like solar, wind. It's all renewable energy resources there.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering that right off the bat, because all electric is like, yes, of course, it runs on electricity. But this is where the electricity is coming from, I suppose. Yeah.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah. Okay, well...
the sun. the electricity coming from the sun and the solar panels.
It's good solar panel weather, I would say, lately. And there's more of that to come, although near the coast, there's going to be some marine layer clouds building up soon as our winds change direction a little bit. We'll have less of that offshore wind. Let's talk about the temperatures, though. Another warm day tomorrow, just not as warm, or maybe hot is a more appropriate word, not as hot as it was today. We got up into the mid-80s in LA. Tomorrow morning, we see that big ramp up of the temperatures from the morning, 50s at 8 o'clock, 70 degrees at 10. At noon, we're in the upper 70s, and I think we'll probably peak around or slightly above 80 at some point, but more like upper 70s will be common through much of the afternoon tomorrow. Again, that's for LA, kind of the downtown LA area. Around the rest of Southern California, you see those warm temperatures again. as the offshore winds tend to produce the warmer temperatures on the coast side of the mountains. So we see a lot of the 80s through here, and then you get closer to the coast and it will be a little cooler with high temperatures in the mid to low 70s for tomorrow. I'll switch it to Friday, and you can see how it's still warm. I mean, for December, definitely on the warm side, but overall the numbers come down a little bit more. Some 80s still sprinkled across the valleys, the Inland Empire, inland areas from the coast, more like 70s, and then some upper 60s for high temperatures along the coast on Friday. And you can expect something more like that as we go into the weekend. I want to show you on Futurecast here how those clouds are going to return. So like I said, we've had an offshore wind lately, and it's gradually changing to an onshore wind, which is going to start to produce some cloud cover probably over the ocean on Friday morning, and some of those clouds might just creep inland a little bit, so there might be that marine layer over some of the beaches Friday morning, maybe a little more of that cloud cover as we go into Saturday morning. Here's our big picture pattern. So high pressure over us. If you know just a little about how the weather works around here, you know when there's high pressure overhead, we see warm and dry weather most of the time. That's exactly what we have going on right now. As we go into the end of the weekend, this high nudges away, allows our temperatures to back off a little, but not much. And then here's another round of high pressure that's going to show up next week, which is going to keep warmer than normal temperatures going. That's pretty much a guarantee. This is the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. We talked about this yesterday, this product from the Climate Prediction Center, and you can see the date we're talking about here. So this is December 16th through 20th. A lot of the country, but definitely here on the West Coast, warmer than normal during that time. This is now December 18th through the 24th through Christmas Eve. And you can expect likely warmer than normal temperatures during that time as well. Doesn't mean it's going to be as hot as we've had lately, but warmer than normal. And what does normal even mean? Well, that'd be in the upper 60s for LA this time of year would be normal. So we're well above that. 82 tomorrow, 77 Friday, 70s over the weekend, but it does cool. Notice 75, then 72. We'll keep the 70s going next week. No rain in the forecast for at least the next week. I would expect it to be dry, maybe even into the next 2 weeks, though, with this high pressure lingering. For the coast, 70s tomorrow, 60s after that. Valleys and Inland Empire, we've got you in the 80s tomorrow. Low 80s Friday still, but then upper 70s on Saturday and mid 70s on Sunday. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Adam. We still have more news ahead at 8.
But first, here's a preview of what's coming up when I join you in the 9 o'clock hour. It's crunch time on Capitol Hill. Unless Congress takes action, health care costs could soar for millions of us in the new year. So what's on the line and what's being done about it? Plus, nearly 24 people poisoned, one actually killed by deadly mushrooms here in California. What we know about the so-called death cap cases, that's ahead at 9.
All right, Dodgers fans, now's your time to get in on some World Series gear.
Well, also memorabilia, right? Bidding open today on some boys in blue memorabilia from the victorious 2025 World Series. Laguna Niguel-based SCP Auctions is, for example, offering Shohei Ohtani's World Series home run ball that tied Game 3. Do you remember that one?
I do.
It was also his second home run of the game and his last home run of the season. SCP expects the ball to go for more than $1 million. The auction also includes items worn or used by Game 7 hero Miguel Rojas. His signed jersey, cleats, glove, arm sleeve, sweatband, and locker tag are all up for the highest bids, which will be accepted through December 18th. So, like, if you catch a home run ball in the outfield,
yeah, and they're gonna come get you right away.
Yeah, but you can essentially consign it to these auction houses,
right? But the Dodgers also, they try and get you to hand it over too,
right?
Or not just the Dodgers, but the team,
right?
itself.
But you know, you wouldn't typically do that if you could sell it for $1 million.
Well, it's happened. Yeah. But take his advice.
Never thought about that when I was a kid at Fenway.
Yeah, you just
all right.
put it on your pillow.
More Americans are traveling this holiday season, but where are they going?
Turns out the hottest destinations are bringing summer heat. According to AAA, the top international destinations are Cancun, Mexico, and the Dominican Republic. As for the top domestic travel spots, both are in Florida, Orlando, and Miami. AAA says this holiday season, about 109 million people will travel by car, 8 million by air, and nearly 5 million will travel by another mode of transportation. Driving is the most popular form of transportation due to its convenience and low cost.
You know, but that might be weighted by Disney World.
I think
it is the most popular. I mean, you're thinking, let's go on a vacation to Orlando. It's got to be Disney World, right?
Yeah, I'm sure that's why it's in the top.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll go anywhere at this point.
Well, yes. You have the rest of the year off, don't you?
Some of it, yeah.
Some of it. Okay, well, good.
All right.
Are you traveling anywhere?
Locally.
Locally.
Yeah, there's lots to do right here in Southern California, in our state.
That's true. Our baby girl is going to be on her first airliner, taking her first trip.
Fantastic.
On an airplane up to the Bay Area, so it's going to be a short trip.
All right.
I should start packing now.
Yeah. That'll be fun. Short trip's a good way to start.
I know, but if you see me in the airport with overloaded and stressed out, yeah, you'll know it's me. Okay, don't go anywhere. He's still up.
Yeah, that's LA Live News Tonight. That continues at 9 right after the break.
Live across SoCal, this is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11 Plus.
Now at 9, parents, students in shock after a local school suffers a problem when a car swerves into a crowd of runners. What we know about the crash and the students' condition tonight. Plus, Bell residents taking a strong stand against plans to sell 2 mobile home parks. They say not only would it hurt the community, but hundreds of people could be left homeless. We're live with the outrage tonight. And our December warm-up is coming to a close. Chief Meteorologist Adam Kruger here with a preview.
Sort of. Still going to be warm ahead, just not as warm as it's been. Here's a look at tomorrow. More sunshine and temperatures that get up to around 80 degrees in many spots. We'll talk about how it will be cooler for the weekend coming up. Phil?
Thank you, Adam, and good evening, everyone. You're watching LA Live News Tonight. I'm Phil Schuman. A fight to save hundreds of homes in the city of Bell as residents of 2 mobile home parks are taking a stand against a city plan they say could destroy their community. Let's go live to Fox 11's Ed Lascos in Bell with more. Ed?
Phil, lots of emotion here, outraged by this group. And when I say group, really about 300 folks who call home these 2 mobile home parks in the city of Bell. The city buys the parks back in the mid-90s. Now the city thinking about selling the parks, and that, as these folks say, could force them out on the streets, leaving them homeless. Talk about emotions. Well, take a look, see it for yourself. To the video we go. Check it right in front of City Hall before the city council meeting tonight. They show up with their signs and their chants saying, "Hell no, we won't go." Talking about the fact they do not want to leave their mobile home parks. The city saying that these parks really run at a large deficit each year. It's causing a financial strain on the city, so they're thinking about turning them over to some other possibilities to bring in some more tax revenue. But the folks here who live there and call those parks their home, giving you an idea there from Skyfox what we're talking about with not 1 but 2 of these parks, really they house RVs, and really for folks who are low income, folks who are just as some have been telling us, living paycheck to paycheck, and now they're facing the possibility of maybe being kicked out of these parks, being out on the streets, as they've been telling me, with nowhere to go. And yeah, that leaves them, brings them right to tears. Watch.
I'm thinking about it because I can sleep, I can eat very well, I am bored. It's not good. It's not good for the people.
We're urging the state to do an audit on the city to see where these funds are going, and also it shouldn't be our responsibility. It shouldn't be past corruption scandals should not be a burden on these residents. It's not our fault that the city is bankrupt. It's not our fault that the city did not use its public funds properly.
What are they going to do? Where are they going to go if they get kicked out?
Exactly. We don't know. A lot of these folks, honestly, a lot of these folks are like, I have no other option. Like, I cannot afford to live anywhere else.
And now take a look at the city's response to all of this, out saying, quote, "This is a very difficult but necessary decision, reflecting our commitment to the entire city of Bell to provide a safer, more sustainable community." Statement goes on by saying those parks will be turned over to basically, quote, "development of new affordable housing, low-income senior housing, retail shops, sit-down restaurants, a hotel, and family entertainment." Stop quote as we come back here. That's the city statement in all of this. The folks here talking about history in Bell, the city of Bell. Think about it. In the early 2000s, this entire city hit by not 1 but 2 corruption scandals, city manager and other city officials squandering away with millions of dollars, serving time in prison as the investigation went on. So the folks here are demanding a state audit of the city, saying, as you heard that lady saying, Phil, we don't want to be responsible. We should not be responsible for these finances, because there's still certainly a lot of mistrust in this city after what took place a few years ago, back in the early 2000s.
Ed, that one woman you interviewed, I mean, the emotion and the fear in her voice, I mean, you know, a city council person hears that, has to affect them.
Well, it does, and to their part, to take their side, 2 sides of the story, they've been saying that they've had many outreach programs trying to talk to the community members, trying to say, you know, what we can do for you, make sure we can have you land on your feet. Yeah. For their part, though, they say that many of these community members aren't interested in listening, so it's going back and forth. In any event, though, to wrap up this story, no decision on this tonight. A vote is coming early January, early next month after the holidays, when the city has to decide if they want to move forward and sell this property.
All right, Ed, we'll follow that one. I'll bet you a Christmas present that thing's delayed and delayed. All right, a frightening moment this afternoon for an Anaheim high school running club. Students were hit by a car. 3 are still hospitalized tonight. As Fox 11's Gina Silva reports, the driver is also hospitalized but under arrest for allegedly driving under the influence.
He just lost control of the car. He just kept going. He didn't stop. He was just going.
Security footage shows the moment a driver lost control and slammed into a group of Anaheim high school runners who were waiting for the light at Harbor Boulevard and North Street shortly after 3 p.m. Fernanda and Kaylee were part of that group.
We were literally waiting for the light just for this one to go.
It wasn't her turn to go. It was the green light was already here. We just waited because it wasn't our turn to walk.
Police say at least 8 teenagers were struck. 3 teens are reportedly in serious condition.
It's really bad. There's a few kids laying bleeding. You could tell that they're badly injured. It's sad.
The driver, a man in his 20s, was also injured and transported to the hospital. Anaheim police are now investigating whether he was under the influence.
It's very sad. It's very scary. Every mother's nightmare.
School officials say counseling services will be provided for students and staff. Reporting from Anaheim, I'm Gina Silva, Fox 11 News.
California has won a major legal victory over control of the state National Guard. The federal judge ruling the Trump administration's move to federalize more than 4,000 Guard members was unlawful. The quote from the judge, an illegal standing army. This is the same judge that earlier struck down the deployment of troops to L.A., saying conditions have changed, and Governor Newsom praised the ruling. Now, the order takes effect Monday, but the federal government is expected to appeal. An Orange County photographer is speaking out after he was deported as he was heading to Texas to photograph a wedding. Fox 11's Nick Garcia brings us this emotional asylum seeker story and his uncertain future.
I was trying to do it the right way, the legal way, and it just feels like they don't care about that.
Adan Cáceres came to the United States under asylum in 2014, fleeing a violent El Salvador, a place he never wanted to return to, but is there again.
My mom's sister was murdered, and she was thrown in the front of our house. She also was abused sexually before they murdered her. And then my brother and I were threatened by the gangs.
He says he never received the deportation order that was issued in 2018 and only learned about it in 2023. He then started the process of reopening his case.
I was paying my taxes. I'm a business owner. I'm a wedding photographer. I'm also married.
In October, Cáceres was going through security at John Wayne Airport, heading to a job in Texas when he was detained. He says from Santa Ana, he was sent to the Adelanto detention center, then one in El Paso, Texas, where he says the conditions were inhumane.
We're not even asking for, hey, let us out or anything like that. We're asking for water. We're asking for us to be able to use the restroom. Like, these are just basic human rights.
He says now that he's back in the country he once fled, he's most concerned about his wife back in Orange County.
I was providing a lot of income for our household, and now my wife has to take care of all of those things on her own, paying the car insurances, the rent, all the bills.
Cáceres says he had no criminal history and feels he was on the path to citizenship when it was ripped away from him, leaving his future with his family uncertain.
I don't know what that looks like for me. I don't know if I'm going to see them.
Nick Garcia, Fox 11 News.
Well, this is a high-profile case we've been following with no arrests so far today. LAPD Chief Jim McDonnell spoke with Fox 11 about the death of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. You remember this story? Her body was discovered in a Tesla at a tow yard. That happened more than 3 months ago. The car was registered to the singer David, but nobody has been arrested or charged. A grand jury is apparently reviewing evidence to decide if anyone will be charged. TMZ is reporting details from the hearing, saying that his record label president was questioned about why he didn't contact the police, overheard in a hallway saying he didn't feel a responsibility to do so. Chief McDonnell would not directly address the case, but did comment on the LAPD, for example, blocking the medical examiner from releasing the cause of the young girl's death.
Our goal there is not to impede transparency. All of this will come out eventually anyway, but to try and not get ahead of the investigation. Information that's put out ahead of the investigation then potentially jeopardizes our ability to be able to identify and interview witnesses and bring justice to a very important case.
We also asked the chief if David is a suspect, but he wouldn't answer. Still ahead here at 9, a parent allegedly breaks into a daycare center through a window and then is accused of kidnapping a child. It's a story you'll only see on Fox. Plus, comedian Andy Dick suffers an apparent drug overdose while hanging out in Hollywood. We hear from him about what he was on and how he's doing now. That's next.
And it might not be as warm as we've seen the last few days, but it's still going to be warm for December. That pattern is locked in for a while. We'll show you a 7-day full of warmer than normal temperatures coming up next.
Tonight, parents on high alert after a man breaks into a daycare center through a window, leaves with his child. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez from Lawndale with a story you'll only see on Fox 11.
A man is seen breaking in through the window of a daycare center in Lawndale last Tuesday. Inside, he faces off with a caretaker demanding to take his 4-year-old daughter. The staff at Little Ones Academy refused because the girl's mother had warned them he was unstable.
Él forzó nuestra ventana, entró por la ventana, se llevó a la niña tan rápido inmediatamente.
He broke in, grabbed the child and ran, says that caretaker, too afraid to show her face on camera.
I don't know where the man is that supposedly broke into through the window.
Citizen app video shows a large response from LA County Sheriff, who tells off camera they advised the mother to immediately get a restraining custody order from a judge. Here's that order, filed the same day. LAPD officers then visited the father at the home where it seems he has a child, but according to their notes, he refused to give the daughter to mother or LAPD. The mother's family saying they're told
that there's nothing that they can do. They've done everything they can already. And Basically, that's it.
They say the father has refused to let them see the 4-year-old since he took her from the daycare center last week. And the caretakers can't believe that. They're worried.
Porque estamos hablando de un secuestro.
We're talking about kidnapping, she says. The mother's family is also afraid.
I'm very worried for my granddaughter. Very stressed out.
LAPD has not gotten back to us as to why they chose not to just take the child, to leave the child there. The man lives in their area, not the sheriff's department. The mother says he is not allowing her to see the 4-year-old little girl, that he sends her cell phone videos. They do have a court date at the end of the month. In Lawndale, I'm Christina Gonzalez, Fox 11 News.
Well, there's a new anti-camping ordinance in Orange County, and there was a cleanup today, the first one. This affects state and county property. The encampment was along the Santa Ana River Marsh in Newport Beach, the first site targeted, but it was a multi-agency effort, including Newport Beach PD, the Sheriff's, Public Works, the Parks Department. It was a one-day operation. The idea was to clear debris, repair fences. Lots of trash could be seen, but not many people. An OC Public Works representative explains why.
We'll hide in here. They'll try to blend in. A lot of times you'll see them with tents that you won't be able to see from just off of the trail. So you may not be able to see them until you get up close. We found caves in some of our spots where they're literally, you walk up, you see a piece of cardboard, and you pick it up, and there's a hole there, and someone could be living inside.
The Army Corps of Engineers also involved. They've posted signs warning of citations and arrests, which are allowed under this new anti-camping ordinance. And LA City Council members touted the success of RV to Home. Monica Rodriguez calls it a pioneering pilot program that's already housed 300 people and permanently removed about 150 RVs.
Here to make sure that we could both house individuals and dispose of the RVs. I don't want that RV showing up in another neighborhood. I don't have to tell the public or anyone else how egregious the discoveries have been about the use of public funds around homelessness. I wanted to demonstrate that we could do it better.
With the right program and with the right approach and protocols, that these folks do want to give up these RVs. They do want to move into housing.
So the program began with a $350,000 grant from the Hilton Foundation. Council District 7 partnered with that service provider you heard from, West Valley Homes Yes, to implement it, focusing on RV encampments in the Sylmar and Pacoima area. And we're told that the full LA City Council is adopting that model for use citywide.
Weather is sponsored by American Career College.
Once again, time to visit with Chief Meteorologist Adam Kruger as we look at the skyline of downtown LA.
Yeah, that view from right here in West LA kind of zoomed in a little bit to downtown. It is a mainly clear night. I know we've got it zoomed real far so you can see some haze that might look like cloud cover or fog, but it's clear. And it's on the warm side for a December night, that's for sure. And temperatures for the next several days will continue warmer than average, but not the near record highs like we had today. Let's start right there. The record to beat, 87 for this date. We got up to 86 downtown, so 1 degree shy and almost 20 degrees warmer than, quote, normal for this time of year, 67. I do that because, I mean, we're not going to be near normal for, I would say, the next 2 weeks, the way it's looking like right now. Let's talk about what we have going on in the short term, though. So we will be cooling a little bit in the next few days, still going to be on the warm side for December. We have the onshore wind pattern slowly returning. It's been offshore winds or Santa Ana winds lately, which is part of the reason why it's been so warm. And with the onshore winds, the marine layer will start to show up as we get into the weekend, at least during the nights and mornings near the coast especially. Temperatures overnight tonight, you can see most areas around greater LA falling in the lower half of the 50s, low to mid 50s will be common. And then high temperatures tomorrow. Again, it's going to be warm, just not as extremely warm for December as we had today. So still some 80s, especially the farther inland you go. Near the coast, high temperatures, mid and low 70s will be a little more common there. Now let's look at Futurecast, which is not going to show anything too interesting through Thursday, but notice as we go Thursday night, you can see clouds forming over the ocean, and some of those clouds, that marine layer will move inland a little bit on Friday morning. Notice these darker colors showing where that's a possibility. And then Friday night, we see even a little more of that onshore push. So the marine layer shows up even more Friday night and into Saturday morning. So we're going to get back into that pattern a little bit, which will probably make for a bigger temperature difference from the coast, where the clouds are kind of slow to clear in the mornings, as opposed to farther inland where it's sunny. But again, overall, no matter where you are, generally warmer than normal for several more days. Bigger picture, we've got high pressure overhead, so we're warm, we're dry. That's forcing the storm track up north here. This atmospheric river's been hitting the northwest. They get a little break this weekend. This high moves away from us, which allows our temperatures to back off a little more this weekend, but still kind of warm for December. And then here we go into next week. High pressure is more in control of our weather than what we're going to see happening up here across Northern California and northward. So we stay dry, and again, we stay kind of warm through next week. 7-day rain outlook, nothing anywhere around here. Northern California, the Bay Area starts to get a little bit of rain, and the heavy stuff continues to hit up in Oregon and Washington, with multiple inches of rain falling on top of areas that have already seen some flooding. So again, the average for LA, 67. We're way above that again tomorrow. We're about 10 above it on Friday. We're coming down Saturday, coming down more Sunday with highs in the low 70s. Still pretty nice, and more 70s for next week. Phil?
Gotta love it. Coming up here, it's crunch time on Capitol Hill, unless Congress takes action. Healthcare costs could soar for millions in the new year. And what's on the line and what's being done? The clock is ticking for lawmakers to extend health care subsidies before Obamacare subscribers see premiums spike in the new year. Fox's Connor Hansen breaks down where Congress stands on a deal.
With less than 3 weeks before Affordable Care Act subsidies expire, time is running out before millions see their premiums shoot up. A group of moderate Republicans is now parting with leadership, trying to force a vote on a bipartisan plan. It would extend the credits for 2 years, expand health savings accounts, address pharmaceutical middlemen, and create an income cap. GOP Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick filed the discharge petition, joined by others who could be vulnerable in next year's midterms if they don't find a solution. It needs 218 signatures to force a vote.
Let's put a two-party bill together now that's going to pass, that will
address the cliff that we face at the end of the year, but we'll still deal with the long-term issues of getting to the true drivers of healthcare.
Speaker Johnson says the majority of the party still has a problem with keeping those subsidies around.
The subsidies were created by Democrats for COVID-era limited use, and they want to be extended. We just can't get Republican votes on that for lots of reasons.
The Senate will vote Thursday on two competing proposals. A Democrat-led plan would simply extend the credits for 3 more years with no other changes. The Republican plan would do away with the tax credits completely, replacing them with $1,000 deposits into health savings accounts.
This is a way to give the American people the power of the purse and not give the profit to the insurance company.
Neither Senate proposal is expected to pass. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
I'm Chelsea Edwards reporting live from Harbor City, where a girls basketball team is reeling after the van they were traveling in was burglarized. Everything taken out of it tonight. They're asking for the public's help. I'll have the story coming up.
Plus, nearly 24 people poisoned, 1 killed by deadly mushrooms here in California. More on what we know about the death cap cases when we come back.
Across SoCal, this is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11 Plus.
And new tonight on Fox 11 Plus, a high school basketball team season takes a pretty bad turn after their van was broken into. Uniforms, laptops, personal gear, homework was all stolen. The team's now asking for help. Let's go live to Fox 11's Chelsea Edwards. She's in Harbor City with this one. Chelsea.
Yeah, Phil, this is just such a frustrating thing for everyone to be dealing with. And of course, right before the holidays, not only was the sports gear taken out of that van, but also the girls' homework, some of their notes that they had for upcoming finals. So a lot of things that aren't necessarily going to be valuable to anybody but them. All of that taken out of this van. So just adding insult to injury around the holiday season to also have this happen right ahead of finals. So this is the Narbonne High School girls basketball team. They say they went to a Raising Cane's after a game at Mark Keppel High School in Alhambra last night. They left their equipment, their uniforms, their school laptops, backpacks, personal belongings, all of it in the van while they ate. When they got back, they say everything had been taken. Now, they've since set up a GoFundMe to help replace some of the stolen items so the players can finish out the school year successfully and also continue playing the sport they love. But the players and the families are really shaken by this.
My daughter was frantic. She was crying, screaming. She couldn't even get any words out. I was trying to get her to calm down, like, what's wrong? She said, oh, somebody stole everything. They took everything. So I'm like, they took what? She was like, my iPad, my headphones, my backpack, my computer. She's like, they stole everything from everybody. Just knowing that she was 42 minutes away from me and I couldn't get to her and hold her and hug her, it was very upsetting.
Now, the district is aware of this. They say Narbonne Senior High School and the Los Angeles Unified School District are committed to supporting our students and the integrity of our athletic programs. Last night, the van that carried the girls' basketball team was burglarized. Anyone with information regarding this matter is urged to contact the West Covina Police Department. And the police department says they are investigating. We're told that they are possibly looking into some surveillance video that was around that Raising Cane's at the time that this happened. We've not seen that. The players and the coaches have not seen that either. But really what the families are hoping for is that maybe this holiday season, maybe the thieves will have some sort of a change of heart and realize that a lot of these items are just worthless to them, but very important to these players. Things like their uniforms for when they do travel games. Again, their school notes, their notes for finals, their homework, all of these things really doesn't have any value to anyone else. So they're hoping that maybe there'll be a change of heart and that those items will be returned. Of course, the police department is investigating. Just to illustrate how strong these players are, they won tonight a home game here at the high school, and they crushed them by 30 points. So definitely a sense of unity here as they try to get through all of this together. Phil?
All right, Chelsea, thanks for that. Appreciate it. Maybe there'll be some positive developments there. Tonight, the FBI is offering a $25,000 reward for info leading to the arrest of this man. His name is Samuel Ramirez Jr. His ties to Compton. He's accused of a double murder at a Washington state bar a couple of years ago. 2 women were killed. Authorities believe he fled to Mexico. They believe he's armed and dangerous. The FBI is looking for him. And new at 9, beloved comedian and voice actor Jeff Garcia, known for playing Sheen and Jimmy Neutron, has died at the age of 50. According to a post on his son's Instagram, he passed away today after a brief hospitalization. A regular at LA's Laugh Factory, Garcia is celebrated for his humor and his generosity, mentored many young comedians. He also voiced characters in Barnyard and Happy Feet. Also, we should tell you that beloved author Sophie Kinsella, known for her bestsellers Shopaholic series, has passed away. She was 55. She battled brain cancer. Her family says that she spent her final days surrounded by love, music, and joy. Her books have sold over 45 million copies worldwide and brought humor and heart to readers everywhere. Developing tonight, comedian Andy Dick, caught on camera slumped and non-responsive on a staircase in Hollywood. We have new information on that, including what he said about what he took. We also hear from addiction medicine specialist Dr. Drew Pinsky.
There was a guy that was my age, and he was depressed, and he was on the sidewalk, and I'm like, I'll sit with you. And then he whipped out, I'm sorry, but crack. And I'm like, you know what? I might need a little bit of that.
That's Andy Dick speaking from his home to TMZ Wednesday afternoon, saying he was alive and okay, but readily admitting that he'd used crack cocaine.
Is he okay? Hey.
This was the scene yesterday. Video also from TMZ showing Dick slumped over and non-responsive as he sat on a concrete staircase outside a building in Hollywood.
Andy, wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
As friends tried to help, apparently police and paramedics responded, gave him the drug Narcan to counteract the effects of opiate overdoses. he was not hospitalized.
Well, Andy is a wonderful human being. He's a very sensitive guy, and he has horrible addiction. He would be the first person to tell you that.
Dr. Drew Pinsky treated Andy Dick years ago, says this is a dramatic and dangerous example of the disease of addiction.
Your thinking, your feeling, your relationships all serve that false god.
That false god would be drugs or alcohol?
Get the drug, get the alcohol, no matter what. And as the disease progresses, all the other wonderful aspects of the brain, the judgment, our willpower, all that falls behind, and this one priority emerges.
Dick is now 59, known for shows like The Ben Stiller Show and The Andy Dick Show. He's had a long history of drug and alcohol problems, as well as accusations and arrests on sexual battery and harassment charges. He's in a new film called T-Bird, and his publicist, contradicting his own words, was quoted today by the National Enquirer saying he's fine. They were filming part of a documentary as well as a live stream. He was just drinking heavily and fell asleep.
I don't mind doing a little crack every now and then.
By his own admission, that certainly wasn't the case. And Dr. Drew Pinsky says, even though Dick has relapsed after repeated attempts at rehab, the message is, keep trying. No response from Andy Dick's representatives to our inquiries tonight. All right, new at 9, Mayor Karen Bass is urging the Los Angeles City Council to approve more than $4 million to hire 410 new LAPD officers by next June. She says without that money, hiring will stop in January, leading to shortage, increased OT, and strained resources. The mayor also emphasized the need for a stronger police force to ensure public safety, especially, of course, with major events like the World Cup and Olympics approaching. Skyfox over another beautiful sunset across Southern California. Spectacular skies. And Adam Kruger is here to tell us what we can look forward to as the weekend approaches.
Yeah, pretty much more weather that you can brag to your friends and family in other parts of the country of what it's like here in LA lately. I mean, we're actually one of the warmer spots, if not the warmest spot in the nation right now. I'm going to show you proof of that here in a moment. But let's look at tomorrow, which, by the way, as warm as it's going to be, won't be as warm as what we saw today. We had 86 downtown today. I think tomorrow we'll get up to around 80 or maybe slightly above at some point. Notice the temperatures kind of holding in the upper 70s for a good part of the afternoon after 50s in the morning. Here's what the highs around the rest of our area look like tomorrow. So we've got another kind of stripe orange on there, which means temps in the 80s. Closer to the coast, it'll be 70s, but you go inland and 80s will be common. Same goes for the valleys and the Inland Empire. Now, I mentioned this. Check out the national map, the high temperatures for tomorrow across the U.S. Yes, there's some warm spots, you know, 70 in Houston, for example, Miami at 76. But the 80s we're seeing here, there's not many other 80s nationwide right now. And then look at the Midwest dealing with really cold temperatures, highs in the 20s, even teens near the U.S.-Canada border for the next few days. So they are really feeling winter for sure. Meanwhile, here it's a little more like summer than winter, and high pressure is a big part of the reason why. We've also seen, you know, the winds go clockwise around high pressure. So we've been on the side of the high where the winds are offshore for us, which has added a little extra boost to the warm weather we've had. This high is going to shift eastward, which will kill the Santa Ana winds over the next few days, and eventually we get an onshore wind by Friday and this weekend, which starts to cool things off a little more and also brings in the marine layer once again. We haven't seen much of that lately. So here's that high going away. Here's the look at Sunday. Not that we've got cold temperatures replacing this high, but it's just going to cool off a little bit. And as we go into next week, we see another round of high pressure approaching, which is just going to ensure that we stay warmer than normal. And speaking of that, when we look 6 to 10 days ahead, it's a good bet we'll see warmer than normal temperatures. What about even more? 8 to 14 days ahead. So this takes us all the way into Christmas Eve, December 24th. Still warmer than normal, and not just locally, but much of the southern half of the country likely to be warmer than normal during that time. All right, so putting some numbers to it, the 7-day for LA and Inland Orange County is going to be over 80 degrees again tomorrow. We come down to 77 Friday, then 75, then 72. So yes, temperatures are going down, but 60s would be considered normal or average for this time of year. So we're nowhere near that. We're staying warmer than normal. More 70s coming next week. No rain in the forecast for at least the next 7 days, probably beyond that. We'll see 70s for the coast tomorrow, 60s afterwards, and for the valleys, the IE. A couple more days in the 80s, and then 70s for the weekend. Bill?
All right, Adam, we got it. A powerful show of solidarity and a call for compassion. Catholic bishops from across California go inside the Adelanto ICE processing center to celebrate Mass with immigrants who are being detained there Fox 11's Laura Diaz shares their message.
That there were 7 bishops, and each one of us represents hundreds of thousands of parishioners who are praying for them.
Images of Catholic bishops from all over the state of California in flowing robes as they walked past barbed wire and entered the ICE processing center in Adelanto, a profound symbol of unity for immigrants Wednesday afternoon. Right now in this center, some 1,700 detainees are being held after the Trump administration cracked down on undocumented people in this country. It's not easy to get in to visit. But this day, the bishops were allowed in. They gave mass to hundreds of detainees, all men, during one of the holiest seasons in the Catholic faith, Advent. The idea was to offer hope in times of despair. It took weeks to arrange the visit. After the service, we met with the bishops. They said they didn't have direct contact with the detainees. There were restrictions, even during Holy Communion.
They were led by the guards. They opened the gates and were able to go into the one section first to offer communion to some 200 detainees on that side, and then they went afterwards into the other section.
But several expressed being personally moved by the experience of sharing in fellowship.
But I saw what was taking place and how moved these men were, coming back to the fence and holding on to the fence as they knelt.
The service today lasted about an hour. It will be the first of many, say the bishops. Pope Leo has called on the church to do more to reach out to immigrants during these frightening times. It was a mission echoed by the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops this day. We were told that the conditions inside of the center were spacious and clean. And also when they first approached those people being detained and started to give mass, there was a burst of applause. In Adelanto, Laura Diaz, Fox 11 News.
State wildlife officials are shifting their approach to protect the endangered Sierra Nevada bighorn sheep. Mountain lions threatening the sheep can now be euthanized. This reverses a 2017 policy which has been relocation. That is still a focus, but authorities tell us that lethal measures are needed to safeguard the roughly 400 remaining bighorn sheep. That's all. Meantime, Southern California mountain lions may soon gain threatened species status themselves, citing threats like freeways, wildfires, and rat poison.
If you eat this mushroom, you could die from it.
Okay, death cap mushrooms they're called, and they're making California sick. So far, more than 20 people have been fallen ill this year, and one has actually died. Experts warn these highly toxic fungi thrive in wet, winter-like conditions. They're found near oak trees. Death caps can cause severe liver damage, so experts say do not eat wild mushrooms unless identified by an expert. And for emergencies, remember the California Poison Control Hotline. Could clearing plants around your home be the key to surviving a wildfire? Up next, what a new study reveals about the difference it made during the Eaton and Palisades fire. Plus, a federal judge taking action, stripping presidential control of California's National Guard again. Legal analyst Jessica Levinson will break down what today's decision means when we come back. Clearing vegetation near homes can save them from wildfires. We know that, right? A new study confirms it from the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety. They found that in LA County, with minimal flammable materials within 5 feet, known as Zone 0, those homes were far less likely to burn during the Eaton and Palisades fires. In fact, only 9% of those homes were destroyed, compared to nearly 30% with more vegetation. A pro-housing group suing California Governor Gavin Newsom over a ban on duplex construction in wildfire-prone areas. The group YIMBY Law claims Newsom's executive order violates state law by restricting housing that allows property owners to subdivide lots. Newsom defends it, saying it protects vulnerable communities. Tonight, a major federal ruling shifts control of California's National Guard once again back to Gavin Newsom, the California governor. A federal judge also rejected the idea that troops could remain under presidential command essentially forever. 2,000 Guard members were deployed to L.A., remember, in June to protect federal property during protests over immigration enforcement. Legal analyst Jessica Levinson joined Marla at 6 o'clock tonight to explain what today's decision meant.
As far as I understand, I mean, we talked about at the height of this in June, there were 2,000, maybe 4,000 initially deployed here, National Guard troops. As far as we understand, about 100 remain currently stationed in Los Angeles. What does this ruling mean for them?
So what this ruling means, if it goes into effect, and Marla, as you know, we always talk about, could this be appealed? And I think it will be. But if it goes into effect, what this means is that the remaining National Guard that have been federalized by the Trump administration would return to the power of Governor Newsom. Because we know that the California National Guard, it's strange to say national, but say they're controlled by the governor. But every state's National Guard actually is controlled by the governor, unless there's some extraordinary circumstance, like the president tries to federalize the National Guard. Judge Breyer spent about 35 pages today saying, I'm going to issue a preliminary injunction, meaning he thinks it's more likely than not that California would win its case against the Trump administration. California is, of course, arguing that the Trump administration overstepped its authority, did not have the power to federalize the National Guard.
So when you talk about the fact that Breyer granted a preliminary injunction, this puts everything on pause, if you will, with a final decision expected on Monday. So do we expect this to be the same decision on Monday, where it is a win for Governor Gavin Newsom and a loss for the Trump administration?
So he issued the preliminary injunction. He paused its effect until Monday to give the Trump administration time to appeal.
I see.
And my expectation is that they will, in fact, appeal, at which point the question is, will the Ninth Circuit say, as I think they likely will, that basically the preliminary injunction doesn't go into effect until they're done hearing the appeal. And Marla, if this sounds like deja vu all over again for people, in a way it is, because we had a very similar argument or discussion when it comes to Judge Breyer issuing a temporary restraining order. When it comes to lawsuits, what comes first? A temporary restraining order, and then more durable relief is a preliminary injunction.
Okay, I see. That's why we have you on. You are the legal mind and the expert. And of course, yes, to your point, the Trump administration came out and said we will appeal, saying in a statement that it looks forward to, quote, ultimate victory on the issue. We'll see what ends up happening, of course. Does this ruling, if it does stick, and it is a win for California Governor Gavin Newsom, does this mean forever and ever and ever that the presidential power will not be in the hands of, or the National Guard will not be under the power of the president and will be under that of the governor instead in the state?
Great question. And the answer is no. What Judge Breyer was looking at is these two orders where the Trump administration tried to federalize the National Guard. What they said is that the facts on the ground satisfied a federal law, federal statute that gives them the power to do so if one of the circumstances is they're unable to execute federal law through regular forces. What Judge Breyer found is that the facts on the ground just weren't bad enough to give rise to that prerequisite, meaning that the Trump administration could, in fact, execute federal law through the regular forces. This is based on what was happening in Los Angeles during certain time periods. It does not mean that if something different happens in a different jurisdiction, or if things change here in Los Angeles, that the Trump administration couldn't go back and try again. It's just based on these orders and these days and what happened in this circumstance.
I see. So Trump's federalized guard troops in places like Illinois or Washington, D.C., this does not apply to those states.
That's right. It may be that those judges look at what Judge Breyer said and think, oh, that's persuasive, that's interesting, that gives me a roadmap, but it does not bind them, because this is by definition based on, is what happened in Los Angeles bad enough to give a president the power to federalize the National Guard under this federal law?
How long does an appeal like this take?
So if the past is prologue, the Ninth Circuit can act pretty quickly. Now, if they just decide to put the ruling on hold, then they could take their time. I'm kind of purposely dancing around this because we don't know, except to say, I think we're looking at weeks. Because it's the holidays, it could be a little longer. If they pause things, that essentially keeps the status quo, and they might not feel that they have to move particularly quickly.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to wait and see if this actually does bleed into the new year in 2026.
Thank you, Jessica. Marla, have you ever wanted to live out your Home Alone fantasy? Well, soon you can. Coming up, an LA pizzeria is transforming into little Neros from that classic movie. We'll take you there. Brand new at 9, the Dodgers and Baby to Baby are spreading holiday cheer out at Dodger Stadium. This afternoon, they hosted 600 students, including those impacted by the Eaton fire, for a great, fun, festive event. Kids got to sled on a snow hill, run the bases, and meet Santa. They also received essentials like warm clothing, toiletries, and toys. This is the third year of the partnership with the Dodgers Foundation, which does incredible work. They donated $365,000 since 2020 to support families in need.
Left home alone by negligent parents on their way to Paris? You know where to go. Disney Plus and Prince Street presents Little Nero's Pizza.
We have pizzas for everyone, from the old to the young, to the way too young to be left home alone. And to celebrate, we're offering up our 35th anniversary special cheese pizza.
Yes, you can live your Home Alone dreams and pick up a pizza. Little Nero's Pizzeria from Prince Street Pizza. LA Studio City location's getting a full makeover, including a famous delivery car from the movie. We checked it out.
It's special for me because, it's like if Kevin had this pizza as a kid, I could, feel what he's feeling because I'm a kid, too. The movie just looks fantastic, and the fact that they have it here, I just had to get it. I mean, it does bring nostalgia back, you know? I was probably about, 7 years old when the first movie came out, so it definitely hits home. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal!
All right, you can even order the lovely cheese pizza inspired by Kevin's iconic order. Do you remember that one? This all goes through the 17th. Thanks for watching LA Live News tonight. Our 10 p.m. newscast is just minutes away on Fox 11. See you there.